I'm curious about Tennessee. And in the Sweet 16, we have a better idea of the field. What did you make of the Thursday night games and how they might help the Vols? Tennessee is pretty good against Thursday's Sweet 16 winners. Let's talk a little bit of hoops.
Yeah, so as I told you guys, my bracket is dead because I had Arizona winning it all and they lost to Clemson. But there were 3 upsets in the Sweet 16 Thursday. 3 lower seeds won. 6-seed Clemson beat Arizona. 4-seed Alabama shocked North Carolina, and 3-seed Illinois beat Iowa State. Tennessee swept Alabama this year, and they beat Illinois. So they're 3-0 against teams in the Elite Eight right now, which is against the teams that made the Elite Eight, which is pretty impressive. I also think maybe with law of averages, 3 upsets Thursday, maybe Tennessee being the favorite on Friday, maybe they should be a little happy about that. I don't know. I'm just saying, is that a good omen, Dave?
I don't know. There's a lot of good omens in this tournament, other than it seems like to me the favorites have won more times than not until
yesterday.
Until last night. So it's been a very odd tournament. Portions of the tournament, as we talk about, are brought to you by our friends at the Hemp House, the premier hemp dispensary online with a wide variety, great selection of strict standards to ensure you only receive the best in CBD or Delta products. Hemp House Chat with 2Ts.com. Hemp House Chat with 2Ts.com. Use the promo code HOOKED. That's HOOKED for 10% off. 10% off. Caleb, I don't think there is an unbeatable team, but I'm going to make the argument for a team that's in Tennessee's bracket. I think it's Purdue. I think Purdue is the unbeatable team. They're the team that goes into the tournament, and you have that UNLV with Larry Johnson or Duke Phil with Christian Laettner. Like, they're the team that you're trying to beat. And the reason I say that is because they're not that talented as those teams. Don't get me wrong. But they have a guy that does it in Zach Edey that does it in a completely different method than everybody else. So it's almost like, do you remember in the middle of the season when teams would have to get ready for Georgia Tech because they ran the triple option back in the day? It feels like not only do you have to play a really good player, but you've also got to play a really good player who does something that isn't done nowadays in college basketball. And in Tennessee's case, you would have to do it on a quick flip because it would be the 2-day flip, not the longer week flip. It feels like to me that if I had to pick one team and the field, that I'm leaning towards Purdue right now based off what I've seen. I wouldn't pick any team in the field, but if I reseeded them, I might have them number 1.
Really? So over Houston and UConn?
I just think Edey is a tough out, man. I just don't.
He lost in the first round last year.
I know, but he is a different. I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't watch a lot of Purdue regular season basketball. I don't know about you, but I didn't. But he is a different player. He has better footwork this year than he did last year. He is not just a big stiff. If you get a chance to watch like 3 minutes of him from this year, tell me I'm wrong. But that's a scarier team than it was to start the tournament. I'll put it that way.
Dave, you are, with 7-footers, believing 7-footers are dominant. You're talking about an era in basketball where they all had side jobs, and once basketball players got talented, 7-foot players.
He is. I'll give you that. He is much more Luke Longley than Shaquille O'Neal. Can we say that?
And if Wilt Chamberlain played in the 90s, he would be Luke Longley.
Well, I'm not going to debate that, but anyway.
But yes. As I say that, I'll give you this. Purdue has a lot of elite shooters all the outside too, so they can be effective in that regard. I think that they will be a tough out, and if anybody's breathing a sigh of relief, it's them. Because I actually would have had, I'm saying all this, I would have had Purdue winning it all. The only reason I had Arizona winning it all is because the Final Four was in Phoenix, and I thought that once they played in the national title, the home crowd could help Arizona. But with Arizona gone, I think Purdue has a pretty clear path now. It would be very tough for Tennessee to get past Purdue, but they didn't get blown out by Purdue when the two played in November, and that was a different Tennessee team than the one that's playing right now. So now, if you're Tennessee, you would obviously rather Purdue lose, but at the same time, I think Tennessee should. It's not like they don't have a legitimate, realistic chance to beat Purdue, but of course they got to get past Creighton first, and there's been a barrage of upsets already. So
I say the scary part about Creighton is that if Tennessee loses against Creighton, it's going to be an ugly loss because it's going to be a lot of missed mid-range jumpers, and those are the ones that people say, "Oh, I could have hit that one. I could have hit the shot from the elbow." But it's going to be a lot of those, and it's going to be one of those that people are going to look at and say, "Ugly loss. Tennessee doesn't know how to compete in the tournament." So this is not the type of game you want to lose because there's no question that they're going to try to take away the 3-point shot, and you're going to try to dribble and drive, and you better not drive too far or there's a 7'2" guy waiting on you. So this is the kind of game that if you lose it ugly because they're going to make you shoot mid-range jumpers. And let's face it, what do kids not want to do nowadays, Caleb?
They don't want to shoot the mid-range.
No, they want to cram it or shoot the three. The mid-range jumper is the most boring shot in the history of man. I really like the more I looked at Creighton and I noticed it on Sunday, I really, really like what they're doing, and I think it's kind of scary for the Vols.
So I got another question, and I just give me your thoughts on this. Both the West Coast teams, and I ranted about this yesterday, they were the ones to play first, so they played at 7. That was 4 their time. That was 4 Arizona's time, 4 San Diego State's time. San Diego State, you saw, got wrecked by UConn. Yes. And Arizona got upset. Clemson and UConn, if they're playing, that's actually 7 their time based on what their body clock is. You know what I mean? So do you think, we always talk about playing later may hurt. Do you think playing at 4 in the afternoon, their body clock time, could be why they were both so bad in the tournament?
I think that's kind of like saying that you built off a bowl win or not, or it motivated you because you played so poorly or not. I think it depends on how each individual team handles it, don't you? I don't think there's an across-the-board statement.
I don't either, but it's weird that both of them lost, and I feel like the shoddy times kind of messed with teams yesterday because Alabama and North Carolina both played way later than they should have. Alabama's on Central Time, North Carolina's on Eastern Time, so it was really late for North Carolina. This is what we talked about, the March Madness brackets being all screwy. I think that had an impact on the upsets Thursday. I think it did.